G'day, welcome to This Is Riffin'. Today we're going to look at Thumb by Kyuss. Such a good tune, this one. It's the first one I actually heard by Kyuss, and it instantly grabbed me, and I was a fan ever since. Just like a lot of my other Kyuss videos, I'm never 100% correct, and it's more just a guide. Josh always likes to do 2 tracks or even more sometimes, so this one's as close as I could get. As is the case with most Kyuss songs, you'll just have to tune your guitar to C standard, which goes like this: C, F, A sharp, D sharp, G, and C. But I'll just refer to each string probably in just standard tuning, so E, A, D, G, B, and E. So the opening riff starts with an open A, and if you can, try and let that sustain while you're doing the other bits as well. But it's okay if you can't, but it just sounds cool if you can. And then you're going to do a lot of pull-offs and hammer-ons as well. So it starts by going to 9 on the G with a pull-off to 7. So open on the A, 9 to 7 on the G is a pull-off, back to the 9. Then another 9, 7, 9 this time as a hammer-on. And then a 7, another 7, 7, 9 as a hammer-on, and then a 7 on the D string. And it's always the sort of tail end of the riff that's just slightly different. So I won't go into each section like precisely, but as long as you just look at the endings, like they're pretty much all the same, except there's a little note here and there added in. So I'll go into the second one, which is an open A, 9 to 7 as a pull-off, then to 9 on the G again, 9, 7, 9 as a hammer-on, 7, 7 again, 7, 9 as a hammer-on, and then you're going to go to 7 on the D, and then to finish it off, I just slide my first finger down here to 5, 5, 7 as a hammer-on, and then 5 on the G. So you get that sort of move. So I'll just do that section again from the start, just a bit slower. A few little vibratos chucked in here and there. Then the second one. And that move with your first finger down really helps there. So I'm using my third for the 9s and my first for the 7, but use whatever's best for you there. So you'll play through that 3 times, but just take note, as I was mentioning, about little extra notes here and there. And then it's the last one that's just a bit different again, which goes like this. It holds the 7 on the G. And then you're going to go to 7 on the D. So I'll just play through a few lines of that again really slowly for you. This is the second line. And it's that little tail end there that it just chucks in an extra 7. But if you missed that, it's all good there. I was just getting it precise with what Josh was doing. And if you find it hard doing the hammer-ons and pull-offs, just play each note and you can get away with it for sure. then kicks into the same riff, just with overdrive chucked on, and it's pretty much exactly the same. So I won't go too much into it. Again, it's just those little tail ends that are just a bit different. And instead of having that open A ring out over the top, you can cut it off. So it's actually just 2 open A's. And then you do the 9-7-9. So that's all pretty much the same. But the first one this time is the 5-7-5. So that one again. So drop it back down. The second one is up to 7 on the D. Third one is the 7 on the G. And then the fourth one, 7 on the D again. So as long as you're cutting off the open A and keep it nice and tight down to that one, you should be all sweet. After that bit, we get into the wicked verse riff, and this is definitely the riff that just formed my love for Kyuss. Just hits you like a ton of bricks. And as most of you know, it's just that tone that Josh had was just awesome. There's a few different interpretations of this riff, and I'm just going to go by what I hear on the album and by some of the live clips of Josh playing it, just using his fingers as a bit of a guide as well. But I have generally found that some people have been missing this note right at the end, so it might surprise you that it's there. But if you listen closely with the album, it should be pretty right, I think. But as always, I'm more than happy to hear some other people's thoughts on what they reckon Josh is actually doing, because yeah, I could be completely wrong. I gave you 2 examples of how I think Josh might play it there, so you can use either way to help you out. And it's just the ending of it, which is really subtle and just me getting quite fussy there. So either way, you can't go wrong. It starts at fret 5 on the top string as a power chord, and you can do whichever power chord works best for you. I like to use my pinky here, so I'm doing 5, 7, and actually 7 as well on the D. It looks like Josh generally likes to use 3 fingers, like so, or you just might do a straight power chord even on the top 2 strings, so 5 and 7. So you'll do 3 strums of 5 as a power chord, with a slide to fret 6 as the power chord as well. So you only strum it once with that slide to get that sort of sound. And then the next couple, we're actually going to do 4 lots of 5 before doing the slide to 6. Which just helps the groove keep kicking along. So I'll play those 3 back to back. So yeah, that boom, 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 boom. And then at the end of it, you're going to do 3 5s again. And then here's the little snappy bit I was talking about earlier. So it's a power chord at fret 8 on the A string, so 8 and 10. And you can beef it up by holding 8 on the top string as well, which Josh likes to do quite a bit. So it's 8, 8, 10, and then 10 on the G if you can get to it as well. So you strum that once, and then you're going to do a power chord at fret 8 on the top string straight after it. And so when I do it, I'm just raising my pinky up. You could do it with the 3-finger method, or even just with your 3rd finger. And it's really like snappy. Like doo-doo. Just like that. Even that last, the 3 5s at the end, you could even just do 2 strums, slide up to it to finish it off, which Josh could actually be doing there as well. It's just so muddy, it's quite hard to decipher sometimes. The alternative way that I played it, actually, it does everything the same, but at the very end, instead of doing 8, 8, 10 and 10, you could actually get away just doing 8 and 8, which is barred with your first finger, and then doing the power chord at fret 8 to finish it off. So it's which works really well too, and quite easier compared to the other one, in a sense. So yeah, Josh could be actually doing that as well. Like so. We then get to the chorus riff, which takes place at fret 8 on the A string, beefing it up with the 8 on the top, of course. So it's 8, 8, 10 and 10, if you wish. And you're going to strum it once, followed by 4 quick ones. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Which you do twice. Before going to fret 5 on the top string, as a power chord, and this one I actually do like to hold 5, 7 and 7 with my 3 fingers here. It's because you do a move after it, and that will really help it. So it's one strum of that, and then you're going to release your 3rd finger and hold the 5 on the A string. So you get that cool move, and so it helps to bar that fret 5 even to begin with, so when you take off that 3rd finger, it's ready to go. And so you do that twice. So I'll do that again slowly. You could definitely just keep playing that throughout the rest of the chorus. However, on the second run, Josh does this cool little solo-y thing over the top, which is at fret 8 on the A string. And it might help using your 3rd finger for that to start it, because you're going to move up the neck. I was probably whipping all over the place with different fingers, so use whichever one works best for you. So you're going to go 8, 8, 8, 8, 8 with a slide to 10. And I'm just sort of doing what I think fits in best there. Josh might actually add in a few extra 8s as well, but as long as you get into that 10, you should be fine. Like playing it in time. With a slide to 10. And then another 10, then a slide to 12. So a 10 to 12 there. Another 12, and another 12 before going to 10 on the top string. And this is why it was good to use your 3rd finger, because you could just go to your 1st finger here. So 2 10s, back to 12 on the A, and then 10, 10, on the D. So yeah, that move's helped by using those fingers there. Josh definitely whips that in there on the live stuff too. And then you're going to come back around for another lot of the like so, except you only do that bit once, and then you're going to go to fret 3 on the A string as a power chord, beefing it up with 3 on top, 3 strums of that. So I'll do that again for you a bit slower. You can actually do fret 8 on the top string if you wanted, instead of that 3 down here like that. That seems to fit in really well with the album just because it's so heavy. But on the live stuff, Josh does appear to maybe go to 8 here, so either way you can't go wrong. So yeah, you could go to 8 on the top string as a power chord, which would sound like this. So yeah, it works well. And then that goes into the little chug riff. And that's just a fret 5 power chord on the top string, palm muted as well, one strum with a little pause before doing 4 quicker strums to get that chug groove. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's played 4 times all up. We then revisit the intro riff again, which is pretty much exactly the same as the other ones, except with the 2 guitar tracks going on, Josh actually finishes them off slightly different just for the first 2 riffs. So I'll just give you the main one you can hear. But yeah, just keep in mind there is actually a different note going on as well, and I'll explain what I mean there. So it starts off with the 2 A's, 9, 7, 9. 9, 7, 9. Then a 7 on the D. That's one like the main track, but the other one's actually going to 7 on the G. So one's doing that, and another one's going. So yeah, that's just me getting sort of fussy there. But go to 7 on the D and you'll be right. So you play that through. Second one. The main one does the 5, 7, 5, where the other one I think is going to 7 again, possibly as well. So yeah, just stick with the 5, 7, 5 for that. Third one finishes on the 7, and to finish this all off, you're going to go 7, 7, 9 on the G. So that's a 7, 7, 9 hammer on, 8 on the B. And then 5 10s, all bent, and then bring it back down to home on the 10, and then an 8 vibrato. And it would work best maybe to use your second finger for the 7, 9, which allows you to go to 8 a bit easier with your first finger, if you wish. And then your third finger and you get your mates behind there on the same string, which helps find that note a bit easier. But you can definitely overshoot it sometimes as well. Around the 251 mark, Josh is just adding in a little extra layer here, which is fret 7 on the D string, and you can bend it up and bring it back down, or you could bend it down even, and then back to 7 again. So that just gets played through twice. In the second chorus, there's that little run again that Josh does over the top. And it's pretty much exactly the same, except it's the ending that's just a little bit different. So you're still working your way up from 8 to 10 to 12. But it's just this bit, which is 12, 10, 10, 12, 10, 10 on top. So the first one was 12, 10, 10, 12, 10, 10 on the D. But this one's 12, 10, 10, 12, 10, 10. So yeah, that's the only difference. We then get to the cool little riff that leads into the solo and outro section of the song. So this starts at open on the A string, and then 2 opens again, a 3, 3, 2, another 2, and then a 6, 5, 6 with a slide up afterwards. Second one where Josh occasionally whips in an extra 3, 3, 3, 3, 2. So either one, you can't go wrong. then it will finish with an open A before kicking into the solo section. As always with my solo sections, just please know they're not 100% correct, but they're as close as I can get to what Josh is doing. This one is pretty close, I think. There is the 2 layers, of course, even a 3rd and 4th potentially. There's a wall of sound going on, and Josh is hitting some notes that I didn't actually know were there, so that was cool to hear. So I'll just sort of play it through, and then afterwards I'll explain a bit of what I'm doing that might help you out, hopefully. I'll start by just talking about the most recognisable bit of the solo, which is that from there, which is the 8 on the B, and then it's a 10-8 as a pull-off. Done about 22 times. So if you keep your first finger at 8, that will help with the pull-off, of course. So yeah, just don't take it off. 10, and then a few 10s with a nice bends back to 8 into that cool section. I won't talk too much about that, but it's all about those hammer-ons and the nice little bends there. And then with the 7/9s, like I like to use my first, the 3rd, and then the 8 with my second finger there for those bits. And it's possible Josh doesn't actually always do a hammer-on as well, 7 to 9. So either way, yeah, you can't go wrong. So while that sweet solo's going on, at around the 3:47 mark, there's just this 10 doing a bend up and down just twice. And then around 3:53, the main one sort of kicks in, which is a 10 to 8. So 2 10s, and then just 1 10. So it does that a few times, and then a 10 to 7 on the G. And you don't really know it's there until you listen close. And then at 4:05, there's a 10 bends, back to 10, and then 8 10, done around 7 times. So 8 10 bends, bring it back down. And then you let that 10 just hold at the ends. So towards the end of the song, it gets a bit chaotic, but there's a few different things going on there. You're going to play that riff again 4 times, and then it goes down to fret 2 on the G, and then a 5, 5, 5, 4, another 4, and then an 8, 7, 8, which you can do as a pull off. So 8, 7, pull off, back to the 8, and there is that slide if you want to chuck it in there. And so it's the same feel as that A string one, but just played on the G. And so that gets played 4 times, but over the top of that, on the second time, there's this one, which does that about 17 or 18 times, which is just fret 8 and 7 as a pull off. So yeah, that keeps going over the top of the other riff while that's happening. You then revisit the A one again, 4 times, and then it's an open A to finish that off. At the same time, there's that second track going, of course, and that does something roughly similar to this. Can't help myself. So at the very end, there's a second guitar track going on that does something pretty similar to this, and it's all the same on the A, like that, but then you can go to 8, 7, 8 on the G, with the slide. So that's 4 times, and the only reason I'm putting that in there is because it helps sort of lead into the outro, which is the 9, 7, 9, 7, 9, 7, and then it just sort of lifts off from there, of course, into Mighty Green Machine. Such a banger of a song. I hope that helps you out in some way, and if you've got any questions, please leave a comment below, and I'll see you soon. Bye.